Welcome to One-on-One with Expert Flyer. This is your host, Lisa Caslin. And today we're going to talk about travel apps. People are hitting the road, they're hitting the air, they're hitting the sea. And some research are saying that travel from the US to Europe is going to increase by as much as 600% this year, which is a crazy number. It's good news for the travel industry and it's good news for us too, but we need to sort things out. And I've invited our friend Tim Leffel to join us today. He's a travel writer, author of several books, including CheapestDestinationsblog, and he's going to share some of his insight on apps that you can't live without now that travel is back. So welcome, Tim.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good to talk to you again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know what? I meant to mention the books that you've written. Can you remind us again of a couple of the books that you've put out there that we love?
Sure. I'm the author of The World's Cheapest Destinations, which is now in its fifth edition, so it's been out quite a while. And I'm also author of a book on moving abroad, living abroad. It's called A Better Life for Half the Price. And that's in
Cool.
the second edition.
Yeah. Love it. Really good book. Okay. So I know that you are not one of these people that has 1,000 apps on your phone, but you do have some, and you do rely on them from time to time. So I wanted to get your opinion on what you think is the most valuable. Even when you don't have a lot of space on your phone, which are the ones that you need to keep when you're traveling?
Yeah, and I want to preface that a little bit just to say, um, I think this is a struggle for a lot of people, but I try to limit the amount of time I'm on my phone. Some people have just given up and they're on there all the time, but I want to have some balance in my life. So I try to just use the ones that are really going to save me time and help make my travels easier.
Okay. So give it to me. What's your top picks?
Well, I think the one I probably use the most that I find the most essential is TripIt, and that is a travel organizing app. So basically, after you set it up with your email, anytime you get an email that's a plane reservation or a hotel reservation or car rental reservation or anything like that that they can recognize, they actually automatically now upload it into the app. So you used to have to forward it to like plans at tripit.com, but now it's finding them automatically most of the time when they come into your email. So, when I'm going traveling, I don't want to have to manually put all this stuff into my Google Calendar or whatever. So it just all shows up in the TripIt app, and you've got your confirmation number, the times, when you take off, when you land, when you're what hotel you're staying at, all of that. And if you're on a trip of multiple days and multiple stops, that can be really handy.
Absolutely. So what do you use for, do you use airline apps to book your trip, or do you use, one of the Orbitz or Expedia or one of those?
Yeah, I do have Kayak on my phone, and that's sort of a multi-search app that you can use for searching car rentals or hotels or airlines. So I kind of like having all that in one place. So that's how I mostly do my searches. But I got to say, I usually book it on my computer because something I'm spending $800 or $1,000 on sometimes. I really don't like the idea of doing that on my phone. But I will do all the searches on my phone just to see what's out there. Especially if I'm just trying to price out a trip, like what's it going to cost me to fly to Seattle, in May? What's the cost for that? Just to get a general idea, and then you could do a more thorough search later. But it's important to remember that not every airline is on any app really,
Hmm.
including the search app. So you might still have to go search Southwest or Allegiant or some of the other airlines.
Yeah. Okay. So I presume that you probably have a lot of points.
Fair number. They're spread across a bunch of different airlines because I'm not always flying on the same one. So I do have the apps for, I think, Southwest, Delta, and United on my phone, partly because they have entertainment aspects. Like if you're on their plane with their app on your phone or your tablet, you can watch TV shows or movies or something. And they also send you alerts when your flight gets delayed or your gate gets changed, and that's very handy.
Do you use anything to organize your points? anything app related to kind of to get an upgrade, to kind of use the points in tandem with some kind of a resource that will give you insight into maybe seats that are available for the fare buckets, for the rewards points that you have, anything like that?
I probably should, but I do not. I rarely have elite status because of that problem I said of traveling
Yeah.
with different airlines. Because a lot of, not a lot of times, but sometimes I'm not paying for the flight. Somebody else is, and they get to pick which airline it's on. Whatever's cheaper. So I end up on a bunch of different ones, and then I live in Mexico most of the year, so I'm traveling on Mexican Airlines when I'm there, and so it ends up being a big hodgepodge. But I know people use a Ward wallet and some others like that to keep track. But I haven't heard anybody say they love any of those services. So I think people are still looking for the perfect one.
I hear you. All right. So if you had to offer advice to somebody, aside from TripIt, is there any other app or trick or any tip that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I think it's important to just have a lot of general travel things on your phone that you're going to use regularly. Like I have the Airbnb app, Uber and Lyft. It's good to compare those two, by the way, because the prices can be radically different,
Oh,
surprisingly different
really?
when you're in a location. I have travel insurance and annual plan through Allianz, so I have their Travel Smart app. So if I ever get in trouble, I can pull that up and get hold of somebody or find out where there's a doctor,
Oh,
things
that's
like
good.
that.
Hmm.
And then I'm, constantly trying to get better at Spanish, so I've got a few for that. But I guess the other straight travel one is I use the XE app, but there's others out there too for currency conversion, which is
Ah,
really helpful when you're traveling. If you see a price on something, you need to know what it is in dollars. You can just do a quickie calculation.
absolutely. Okay. So this was very helpful. I look forward to seeing you again, and remind us where we can find you online.
Well, CheapestDestinationsblog.com is the one I've run the longest, and it's just me writing on there. But you can see everything else I do at TimLeffel.com, including my books.
Perfect. Pleasure to have you again, Tim.
Thanks for having me on, and good to talk to you, Lisa.
Same here. Take care.